Hey, this is Dave from Retired Time Productions, and I just thought I'd inform my viewers about the situation with the FAA, AMA, and the registration. And this just came in on the FAA website right here, and it's actually a registration deletion form where you can take your registration off of the FAA registry site, and also if you want to, you can get the $5 back if you paid the $5. So let's take a look at that and just what this really means to us as pilots.
Welcome to Retired Time Productions.
So for those of you who are in a hurry, this is actually the page that you have to go to on the FAA website. And this is the registration deletion page, and you can find it at this link right here, which I will put underneath the video so that you can go right to it if you need to delete your registration and get your $5 back. Okay, so this is due to a recent decision in the U.S. Court of Appeals, where you probably remember John A. Taylor had filed a petition against the FAA claiming that they were in violation of Section 336 of the Special Rule for Model Aircraft. And the court found that they were in violation, and the registration process was actually illegal. So now they have this form here available, which I was showing you at the beginning of the video. And to get to that form, all you have to do is go to this registration deletion page, scroll down to right here, and click on this link, and it takes you to the form. Okay, so now let's look at the form. What does it all mean? So here's the form, and you'll see that in order to get your registration deleted, you have to certify that in compliance with the following provisions of Section 336. This is actually just 336 with a bunch of check boxes that you can check off. And if you look down through here, it's basically what's in 336, which is you're flying strictly for hobby or recreational use and with a community-based organization, and it's within a certain weight limit, and you're operating in a manner that doesn't interfere with a manned aircraft. And if you're near an airport, then you have to notify them, and then you operate in compliance with Section 336, which they already said. And then at the beginning of the registration period, they ask people to file right away, and they would get out of paying the $5, but they actually had to pay it, and then it was refunded. Well, if that happened, then you're not eligible, obviously, to get the $5. Okay, so this right here is kind of daunting, just having to check all this stuff and agree to all these things and then sign this form. So I don't know what to say about this. It makes me kind of nervous. If I had been registered, I'd probably be reluctant to sign all this, because this looks like just another registration almost. So you're registering to be unregistered? I don't know. It's kind of strange. So I wonder what you think about that. But these items here are just part of 336, and John A. Taylor had that actually in his petition right here, where he put Section 336 down and all the steps, and it's the same thing that was listed right there. So you could just read this, pause the video and read this, and you'll see these are the same 5 things that was right here where you had to check. So the FAA is just basically trying to make sure that you're either registered with them, which is again kind of strange because I thought there wasn't going to be any registration anymore, but from this it looks like they're saying either you've got to be registered with them or be registered with a community-based organization like the AMA, and follow the subsections of Section 336, which are all these things. So in a way, they're still enforcing rules here, it looks like to me. But you can be the judge. I'm just showing you how to do it. Now, there's another page where you give a bunch of information, but if you just want your record taken off, then, and you don't want the refund, if you just want your record expunged, you can just like check here, and then you can sign it, put your identifier in, I guess that's your FAA number, and then sign it, owner name, identifier number, sign it, and just mail it in, and they give you the address right here where you can mail it. And that's all you have to do. But if you want your $5 back, then you have to fill out this other information, which has all your address stuff and your financial institution information, like your routing transit number and an account title and account number and so forth. So basically you're giving them all this banking information so that they can electronically send you the $5. So you're actually giving them more information to get unregistered. And this is only for the hobbyist drone users. It's not for people that would be flying commercially or for money. They would need to get Part 107. So Part 107 is still in effect. So if you're going to fly commercially, you still have to get the Part 107 license. And so that's a whole nother ball game, and it has nothing to do with this at all. This is a separate issue here, just for the hobbyist. So in my opinion, what this means to us as pilots is that we either have to be registered with a community-based organization like the AMA, or we have to register with the FAA still. In fact, their site is still up, so they're expecting people to continue to register if they're not going to be part of a community-based organization. This is for, of course, the hobbyist people. Now, there's still a bill that's going through Congress right now where the FAA is going to be reauthorized, and the FAA Modernization and Reform Act may be tweaked a little bit, and there may be other things added to it. So we still have to wait and see just how much power the FAA is going to have over the hobbyist model aircraft people. But as it stands right now, it seems pretty good. It seems fair that you either have to register with one or the other and not both, which was kind of like what I was looking for. But there's still a little bit of slack in the fact that there's the same problem exists that exists in the past, and that's there's a lot of people out there that just buy a drone and they start flying and they don't care anything about the FAA's regulations, they don't care anything about community-based organizations, they just grab their drone, go out and fly with no education. So there's the problem. How do you get these people educated? I think it's best just for us to get the word out as we see new pilots coming along and just mention Section 336 and the things that are in 336. And I went over them, and it's on the form right here. The FAA has listed out the things that you need to know to fly and where you can refer to get them in that 336. Of course, if you're a member of the AMA, you're probably going to be already flying responsibly because they have their guidelines that pretty much stick with this pattern anyway. So that's all for now, and I hope this has been informative. If you got any opinions about this, maybe you just think the FAA is still overreaching, or maybe you think the AMA is overreaching, or maybe both. We don't know. So let's discuss it. Put some comments under the video, and I'll talk to you later. Keep your wings dry.
Here, play.